What is happening? I'm Paul Sharp, and I help people transform themselves in 90 days or less. Now, it's not just for 90 days though. The intent is that once you begin this process, you will never want to stop. You will keep doing it for the rest of your life, which is what I've done. I began to transform myself when I was about 16 years old. I realized I needed to make some changes. I got after it, and multiple times throughout my life, I have burned everything down and started over, completely transforming myself and bringing a new version of myself to the world. And that's what I do for others. So if you're interested in that, hit me up and let's get to work. One of the things that I recommend in my program is reading. We read a lot. Now, on average, I read a book a week, sometimes more. And sometimes I read books that I've read before. So I don't know if that counts or not. But you know how it is when you have a good book and you're thinking, or you're having a conversation with friends and you start thinking, oh man, where did I read that? And you start going back through your books and you end up reading the whole book, because not only was that piece really important and really cool, but you realize I'm seeing this book through different eyes. It's been a few years, I've grown a little, some things have happened, maybe I've changed. And now I'm looking at this book like I've never seen it before. It's just new. And that's a cool thing. As we change, the books change. So pretty interesting. There's kind of a little bit of a metaphor there for life too, right? That the world changes when I change. Now, the books. What books do I recommend folks read? I start with The 7-Day Mental Diet by Emmett Fox. That's super important. I wish if you don't read anything else, read that and put it into play immediately. It's a pretty simple premise, and it was a life changer for me, and I'm not being dramatic. It was one of those things where learning to control your thoughts, be conscious of what you're thinking, not allow yourself to go too far into the negative. Like, you have a thought, but you don't chase it to its end, and then you learn to just let it go. The next is It's Loving What Is by Byron Katie. That's a really important book because it causes us to then build upon what we learned in the 7-Day Mental Diet, and we begin to ask ourselves, is this true? These negative thoughts, are they really true? Should I really be thinking about these things? Should I really be pursuing these things? And it causes us to become, again, conscious of our thoughts. Then I recommend Growth by Dr. Dweck, which is a book on mindset and learning and how we approach problem solving. I think that's a really important book. Now, after that, you can read these books in any order, and I don't really have a set order for folks to read things. I want them to read The Comfort Crisis, Dopamine Nation. I think High Performance Habits, Atomic Habits. Those are all important books for people to read. I want people to read Meditations by the Marcus Aurelius book. I want folks to dive deep into the classics and read things that edify you. If you are a Christian, then I want you to read the Bible. If you're say Muslim, then I want you to read the Quran. Whatever is your most important book to you spiritually, mentally, the book that causes you to aspire to be something greater than what you are right now, I want you to read that every day. And we read for 30 minutes minimum every single day. It's how we start the day. So what we do is we start the day with reading. I want you to read. I want you to reflect. I want you to think about these things that are flooding your mind with thoughts that are inspirational, thoughts that are aspirational, causing you to aspire to be something greater than what you are currently, to reach for who you really were meant to be, to find your purpose. And then I want you to write. I want you to just really think about it. I want you to consume it like you would a good meal. And I want you to then write about it. I want you to think and then write your thoughts out. And there's a reason for that, because what we write, we retain. And I want you to write out your thoughts. Also, the other point is that in the future, in a year or two, or even just 6 months, you can go back and look at this journal entry and realize what I wrote today versus what I wrote 3 months, 6 months, or 2 years ago are very different, because I'm growing. And that's a metric we want to keep track of. Like, how are we growing? I can keep track of my calories, I can keep track of weights and distance run and all these different things, but how do I track mental and spiritual growth? And this is one of those things where if we have our thoughts written right here in black and white, right in front of our face, we can open our journal and go, man, on this day in 2020, this is what I was thinking and this is what I was feeling. And I'm so far removed from that, I don't even recognize that. I don't even recognize the place from where that was written, the mind that wrote that. It's not me anymore. And that is so important. That is, I can't express to you how important that is, to be able to track that and see your growth. It causes, in a way, in a good way, a sense of pride and fulfillment that it's working, that I am working on myself and that work is paying off. I am seeing results, even though I can't physically see it. Right here in black and white though, I can see where I've grown, I've matured, I have got closer to who I really wanted to be, to who my ideal version of myself is. And that's why we have the reading. So we read about a book a week. I start folks off with that list, and then we add to that. And each week or month, we have different books that we plug in. And if you want to know more about that, then get in the program and let's get to work. I'll also, on my Instagram and my Facebook, my other social medias, usually I'll upload like a monthly reading list. Like, this is what I read last month, and then I'm on to the next thing. So check it out. If you have any questions or suggestions, let me know. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.